BLITZ the Muffin here. We're going to be taking two tanks that just had to be put face to face against each other, the KpfPz 70 versus the K91. Thank you for the subscriber request. I got a lot more on the plate. I'm planning on doing so. If you've made a request, it is on the list. And thank you, Garion, so much for helping to put these together. That is such a huge help. And all the awesome subscribers that are joining and helping with these rooms is just amazing. So these are two very iconic Tier 9 premium tanks in the game that the KpfPz 70 over on the German side, the K91, a premium heavy on the Russian side, now going to fight against each other. We're going to do best out of 3 rounds. We're going to talk about these tanks a little bit and just compare and see which one of these may be better than the other. I have a prediction based on my feel of both tanks, some of the stats of these tanks. They do have their differences. So looking at the KpfPz 70, it doesn't have as good of DPM. I think it hovers around 2200 damage, whereas the K91 does have a DPM of around 2700, making it a little bit more lethal. However, the K91 has an auto-loading mechanism. So once you've clipped out the enemy, you have a much longer reload. The KpfPz 70 is much more derpy per shot, so it will have a long reload between its shots, but it's not as long of a reload once the K91 has clipped out the enemy. The accuracy and aim time of the K91 is slightly better. The maneuverability of the KpfPz is actually slightly better in that area. And the K91 does have more turret armor. However, it does have those really flat, weak spots, those ears on each side of the turret that are a bit easier to penetrate, whereas the KpfPz, even though it has slightly less turret armor, doesn't have quite those big of weak spots. So each player is going to have to take those into consideration. And this KpfPz trying to get away, really good close round, but the K91 just has too many hit points here. He's trying to do what he can, but this looks like it's going to be in the K91's favor. So K91 wins the first round. And I'll be honest with you, I had to guess that the K91 would be the one to win this showdown because of some of those points made. Also on top of that, another point I forgot to make is the K91 also has slightly better gun depression. I think it has 7 degrees, whereas the KpfPz 70 has 6 degrees. So KpfPz in a lot of ways is a little disadvantaged, in my opinion, compared to the K91. But if you're not careful with that K91 after you clip out the enemy, you do have a pretty long reload and you can get yourself in a pretty bad position. But I do love how the KpfPz 70 has that real derpy cannon. Now this, cresting this hill right here, the KpfPzers are going to have a pretty good and a little bit better turret. Not as good of gun depression as mentioned. The K91 does have those weak side ears on its turret. You can see here, right as they switch to premium ammunition, you can really see those side areas of the turret being pretty weak. The K91 can hit it, it's just a little bit harder. Both, honestly, are pretty comparable tanks, but putting them face to face against each other, it's going to be real interesting to see what the outcome is here. And that upper plate, that upper glacial plate on the K91, as you can see, is much stronger than the KpfPz 70s. They have, I believe, about the same armor, but that upper glacial plate on the K91 is a bit steeper, angled, making it harder to penetrate. And these KpfPzs are having to crest a little bit more than the K91s just because of that gun depression. So it kind of puts them in a little bit of a rough spot. Now, the nice thing about the KpfPz 70 is sometimes if you don't have a shot at all, you'll notice that some of these people playing on the KpfPz side is using HE rounds. It's sometimes nice with that really derpy cannon, you can end up draining some hit points rather than none if you just know you're not going to have any shot for a while. Now, KpfPz 70 is doing pretty good here. 2 K91s down. We had a pretty good turnout for this showdown. And we do add more tanks even in the next round. And we also switch it up just a little bit, hoping to give everyone a turn, make sure the teams are equal. And amazing. So this ties the score. 1-1. This final round is going to be the tiebreaker to see which one will be the winner. You'll have to let me know in the comments below which one you prefer. So Vineyards here on the last map. KpfPz 70s putting themselves in a pretty good position. As they don't have as good of gun depression, the flatter ground is going to help them. K91 also looking like they're taking the same route. I don't know what it is, but going from 6 degrees to 7 degrees of gun depression sometimes just makes all the difference. Man, some good shots there right at the beginning. These KpfPzers trying to crest these stairs and hill over here just a little bit is going to be a little troublesome for them. Both these tanks don't have a lot of armor on the sides, rear, or front outside of the K91's upper glacial plate. So a lot of it is going to be trying to utilize that turret and protect your hull as much as you can. Man, getting some great shots off on each other. A little bit too angled there on the side scraping. As you can see, it's a little difficult to do so. We really love all the participation. Everyone is more than welcome to join our rooms that we do for our vids. To know when we do these rooms, join the Discord, get the movie crew roll. And some trying to angle, which is definitely needed. And things for the KpfPzers are actually going in their favor, it looks like. Really good game here. And I'm sorry, I never even gave my prediction. Based on the stats, what I know about the tank, I would have thought the K91 would pull through and win the showdown. But so far, it looks like the KpfPz 70 may actually win this. What a good game. So, honestly, great job. Thank you so much for all those that helped. Hope you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.